out there? I'm Kai B. Michaels. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Saikat Chakrabarti. I'm running for Congress to represent San Francisco, and I'm really excited to talk to you, Kai.
God, I'm excited too. I want to dive right into the questions. My first question is, do I look good?
You look amazing. You look fabulous.
Okay. Let's just double check. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Well, I need to hear it back though.
You look really good.
Okay, thank you.
You look really. I think you know that. Okay, so you're running for Congress. Are you afraid?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm hopeful. I wouldn't be doing this unless I was hopeful. You know,
That's
I know
fair.
things are really bad right now, but the thing that gives me hope is there is such an outrage, such a moment of change, and it's similar to what I saw in 2018. Because I was running all these campaigns in 2018
Right.
with the Justice Democrats, and there was like a bit of a moment of change then. You know, Trump had just won. Democrats were pissed at the party, but compared to that, what I'm seeing now is off the charts.
Okay.
And I think there's this chance to like go from everything that's horrible right now to a completely different vision of society. I think it's like our New Deal moment, you know, but that's going to require people willing to go in there and ruffle feathers, change the party, you know, break down the existing corporate barriers that are there. And I think it's possible. It's not just me. There's people running all over the country that want to do this, and I'm excited for that.
I've heard you talk quite a bit about folks in other places in the country. To me, that's a green flag because I feel like, you know, the fact that you're looking at other races, to me means that you care about this country as a whole. And I think that's an important role to play if you're going to represent us on a national stage. Can you talk a little bit about just like the coalitions you're building nationally? I know you just had Jamal Bowman out. You just had Hassan Piker out. Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, at the center of it is just this general idea of how I believe politics works, right? Like the only way we can fight for a different vision of society is to have a movement. I believe it has to be a movement of candidates and a movement of people working together. I mean, that's how change has always happened in the country. That's the civil rights movement. That was the New Deal movement. It's always been inside-outside organizing like that. And right now, if I look around the country, if I look at candidates, there's people like Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan.
Yes.
Donovan McKinney, who a lot of people haven't heard about, but he's doing amazing work out there too.
Shout out.
Shout out to them.
I'm from Michigan, so
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited about Abdul.
Yeah.
There is a large Muslim population in the Metro Detroit area, especially, and I feel like they've always been underrepresented. I'm a millennial, and you know, growing up in Detroit in the early 2000s and seeing just the blowback from 9/11 and the rampant xenophobia from that time, I feel like affected a lot of our neighbors in ways that I was vaguely aware of as a child and I've become more aware of as an adult. Are there ways that you've kind of internalized some of the like xenophobia and racism in this country, and like how do you metabolize that and how do you use it to like just go forward and do actions?
Yeah, you know, I think there's always been this strain of xenophobia and racism in the country, right? And I think it ebbs and flows. Like, that can't ever go away, but whenever you pitch some different vision of how to make people's lives better, and that's what I think like ultimately FDR did with the New Deal, because there was like there's a huge Nazi movement in America at that time,
Right.
But he pitched a different vision and it worked, and so that killed that movement for a long time. It was still there, but it got marginalized. And so yeah, I grew up, as a brown kid in Texas after 9/11, faced a lot, of the xenophobia. I mean, I'm not Muslim, but people in Texas did not always make that distinction.
No, they don't.
And that, I guess it showed me two things. Like, one, it did show me some of the darker, uglier sides, but at the same time, like, I had amazing teachers who like had my back. I had amazing adults who had my back, and the warmth of community when you get to know people, it's out there. And I think you have to like tap into that and try to bring the good side out to overpower that xenophobia.
Absolutely. I think that one of the failings of the New Deal was that it cut out a lot of black and brown families.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're having kind of like a 2.0 or a redo is really exciting to me, because that feels like, hey, we can do what FDR was doing, but we can do it better. We can do it in a way that's more effective. So my question for you, segueing from that, you're a multimillionaire. You have a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Please give me money.
I will
later.
tonight.
Okay. Yes. But also, as someone with a lot of money, you are a little just genuinely disconnected from the average person. And then when you go to the fucking swamp, you're going to be even more connected to your constituents here in San Francisco. How the hell are you going to represent us?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. When I came out to San Francisco, I worked in the tech industry initially, right?
Absolutely.
And so I ended up joining this company early on as an early engineer. And then,
Stripe, right?
Yeah, Stripe. And then just because I was in the right place at the right time, I ended up making a lot of money. And that was actually an eye-opening experience for me because I don't come from money. Like I grew up middle class going to public schools. My parents grew up poor. My dad especially, he was a refugee during partition in India. So, he grew up with his family of 12, struggling, often not knowing where his next meal would come from.
Yes.
And when he came to this country, he saw getting a visa to come here as a lottery ticket, so he saw that as his big break. And I watched him my entire childhood sacrifice and save every extra dollar to give back to either our family that was still in poverty or to help our immigrant community in Texas. And that really shaped my morality, So when I came out here and I hit the startup lottery, there's two things that did for me. One, it really showed me how broken our system is. Because I worked hard for a bit, but I did not work harder than a teacher or a nurse or the janitors cleaning our offises did every single day. I just won the lottery, right? And you shouldn't have to win a lottery to afford a home or a secure retirement.
Right.
But also I don't know, I think back to my dad, I quit the tech industry right then and joined the Bernie campaign and have spent the last 10 years of my life trying to fix this economy because how could I not? I just got handed all this privilege,
right,
all this power, and I should use that to fix the system, and that's what my dad would do. So I don't know, that's where I'm coming from. But I understand, at this point, it is unfair, and so I'm trying to use my money to change what's possible, change what the vision of the society should be.
Is there a way that you're trying to inoculate yourself, from the lobbyists, from the, corporate interests that's running rampant in DC? Do you have habits? Is there music? Is there family? What do you do?
I mean, I don't take any of their money, first off.
That helps.
Right? That helps. I don't talk to them. In fact, when I was AOC's chief of staff, Jamie Dimon kept trying to get a meeting with her, and I would block him. I didn't let him get a meeting with her. And to this day, I don't qualify for a Chase credit card. I don't know. I don't know if it's because of that, but
I love that. Good for you. Actually, high five for that one. Hell yeah.
But it's just I am very clear about what that problem is in DC because I went there, I worked there, I saw how ingrained that corporate culture is in the Democratic Party. We literally had retreats where the chiefs of staff would be sent to learn how to take advice and bills from lobbyists. And so when I got sent to that retreat, I tweeted about it, calling it out, and I got a bunch of shit for that. But that's wrong. That's not how we should be legislating. We shouldn't be going to the corporations and just taking whatever they give us and making it into bills. But that's how it works there. The only way to change it is going to be to go there and break that stranglehold of money, and that's going to mean primarying a bunch of corporate Democrats.
Absolutely.
And changing the entire party, getting rid of Hakeem Jeffries as leader, right?
Absolutely.
It's not going to happen with the party as it is.
Well, okay, so I believe, from where I'm sitting, just being honest, you are hemorrhaging support in the progressive base in San Francisco because you helped fund Bilal Mahmoud's election. I believe that he has done, kind of damage to the marginalized people in San Francisco. Daniel Lurie as well literally had his security beat up a homeless man recently, right? I work with the unhoused. I understand people's frustration when they see some of your track record here in San Francisco. I would like you to speak directly to that, can you just say, hey, I'm sorry for voting for these assholes? Can you just say that?
Well, for Bilal, Bilal has done some stuff that I think is good. I will say, okay, he had a bill in his first day that was trying to spread out homeless shelters across the city so they wouldn't all be in the Tenderloin, and a bunch of people in the progressive bloc voted against it, right? So I'm going to call out anybody who, if I supported them and they do a good thing, great. If I supported them and do a bad thing, I'm going to call them out. Vice versa too. If I didn't support you and you do a good thing, I'll cheer you on.
What about Daniel Lurie?
I don't like that he had a homeless guy beat up. No, that was awful.
But I feel like he's like overall really bad. Like he's pretty bad.
There's a bunch of stuff that he's done. Like I wish he would be willing to tax the rich way more, right? And like,
but like he's like a billionaire, like nepo baby who is like defunding all of our public transit, which I know you care about.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know, it's pretty damaging. Like
I mean, I don't think he should be. It's not just him though. Like
no, for sure.
Yeah, there have been like again, Bilal was the one person who went to the MTA to try to keep the cuts from happening. So I do appreciate that on him, but I don't like that Lurie's trying to cut it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, okay, I would love for you to speak directly to the constituents who have these concerns, who say like, how am I going to trust you? You got all of this money, you funded all of these people that's hurting me directly. You know, like what can you say to those folks to help them understand where you're coming from?
I'd say look at my overall track record, right? So it wasn't like Bilal wasn't the only person I supported in the last election. Like I also supported Prop 5. I supported, I spent a lot of time campaigning for people like Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush and Summer Lee, who are under a huge assault from AIPAC money. And I spent the last 10 years trying to primary corporate Democrats and change our entire government. So, when you support a lot of candidates and causes, you don't always line up on every single one. I get that.
You don't always line on everything,
I'm always going to be like issues first, right? So if I agree with somebody on policy, on issues, I'm going to call that out and I'm going to fight for that. And if I don't, then I will challenge you, right? And I'll try to fight against you.
Okay. So like if your constituents are disagreeing with the job that you're doing in Congress, how do we call you out?
Well, right now, I'm doing a town hall in every week in every single neighborhood in the city. I've done about 13 of them. I also do a voter call 3 times a week. I was doing them 5 times a week. I've done hundreds of these. So anyone in San Francisco can show up and talk to me directly. And I plan to have some version of both of those going when I'm in Congress. I really believe this kind of politics of trying to go out there and take these big political risks, it requires being extremely available to your constituents and knowing that I'm being accountable, right? That I'm doing what you want me to do, because there's no one else supporting me in doing it, right? The corporations don't want me to do it. No one else wants me to do that. So I'm going to keep doing town halls like multiple times a year. I'm going to keep talking to people, and I'm going to have a constituent services office that will be extremely available. So that's good. That's my style of politics.
Okay, I dig it. Wrap it up. Okay. One thing that I really, really enjoyed about your interview with Hassan is just hearing your overall political ideology. I think that a lot of people work based on talking points and frameworks. I'm very much into solar punk steam subculture, and I love the idea of just getting back to things that are beneficial for humanity. So I want to thank you for just your overall view of how you approach politics. I do believe that you will do a good job. From my perspective, I think you're going to do a good job because I think that you have the ideology down and you sound very well researched. So I do want to see if there's something that you want to say to folks at home in terms of your overall view. Do you consider yourself a humanist? How do you view humanity? How do you view your role as a politician?
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the core of my belief is everybody deserves a good life with dignity, right? And it is the job of the government to do that. It's the job of the government to ensure that for everybody. And that, it shouldn't be the case. I don't want a society that's structured where, it's just about opportunity, because that by its structure means only some people will get to have a good life, right? Other people, no one deserves a bad life. No one does, because we have a society where we can give everybody a good life. Now, I appreciate you saying I'm well researched and I've thought this stuff through, but I really think the big difference in this race isn't just the ideas. It's that to make any of this possible, you have to be able to go into DC and be willing to blow up your career to make this change happen. Because the way it normally works is most politicians go there, they spend years working their way up the ranks, they say yes to whatever leadership wants, and then you get to be a chair of some committee in 40 years, you get a Wikipedia page, whatever, you made it. And that's why nothing changes. So the thing I'm really offering in this race is I'm saying I'm going to go there, I'm going to challenge leadership, I'm going to primary other Democrats, I'm going to try to make this political revolution happen. And no one else is willing to do it. So that's what I actually offer.
Hell yeah. Well, please follow Saikat. Watch his interview with Hassan. I thought it was great. I met Hassan 2 years ago at Anime Expo, and I told him to have a drag queen on stream, and he hasn't done so far. So if you could tell him to have me on stream, or another drag queen, but whatever, me preferably, please do that. Watch the interviews. please go follow him on all the socials. I do genuinely believe that your ideology is aligned to what San Francisco is all about, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much.
Can I have a hug?
Of course.
Okay, yay.
Bye. Hey, do you mind if I get a picture really, really fast before? Yay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.